I think one of the saddest realizations I've had lately is realizing how much of my life I've spent mentally somewhere else. Waiting for the next season, waiting for things to improve, waiting to finally relax and enjoy my life. And I think somewhere along the way, I stopped being fully present in the life I already had. I know I've talked with y'all before about how easy it is to postpone your life emotionally. And honestly, I think I keep talking about it because I'm still learning that lesson myself in real time. Because for so long, I lived with this mindset of once life settles down, then I'll relax. Once everything finally feels stable again, then I'll enjoy it. Or once things are easier, then I'll slow down and actually be present. And I don't even think I realized how disconnected I had become from my everyday life emotionally until recently. Not physically, just emotionally. Like, I was technically going through my normal routines, but mentally, I was always somewhere else. Always thinking ahead, always trying to prepare, and always carrying the weight of the future instead of fully being where I already was. And I really think difficult seasons make that even harder. Because when life feels emotionally exhausting for a long time, you almost start functioning on autopilot and survival mode without even realizing it. You stop fully relaxing, you stop noticing ordinary moments, and you stop feeling connected to your own life because your brain is constantly trying to stay ahead emotionally. And eventually, you look up and realize life is still moving while you're mentally waiting for permission to enjoy it again. And lately, that realization has hit me a lot harder than I expected it to. Because the truth is, life may never fully feel perfect or completely certain again. And if I keep waiting for someday to finally feel peaceful enough, or to reach certain goals before I allow myself to enjoy life, I think I'll miss so much of the life that's already happening right in front of me. And I think that realization is honestly part of why this porch project started meaning so much to me lately too. Because this porch has become really special to me during this season of life. There have been so many evenings where I've walked out here feeling emotionally overwhelmed. And this porch became the place where I felt like I could finally exhale from life for a little while. Sometimes I come out here and do my Bible study or devotion. Sometimes I just sit out here with something to drink and just let myself slow down for a minute. Sometimes I sit out here with the dogs while we watch traffic go by and listen to everything around us settle down for the evening. And those quiet moments out here have meant so much more to me than I have ever expected them to. Because when life feels mentally heavy all the time, even a few peaceful moments start feeling important. And over the last week, I've slowly been trying to clean this space and organize it little by little. And honestly, it needs so much work still. The walls need to be painted, the ceiling needs to be painted, the floors have been redone for years now, and I have yet to stain them. And there's definitely part of me that wishes I had the energy to completely transform everything all at once. But truthfully, I just don't right now. And that's another thing I'm learning lately, how to stop being so hard on myself for only having the energy to do what I can right now. Because I have learned that little progress, little by little, adds up over time. Because for a long time, I had the mindset that if I couldn't completely finish something perfectly, there was almost no point in even starting it. If I couldn't fully complete the vision I had in my head, then why even bother trying? But lately, I've been realizing how much joy that mindset quietly steals from people. Because life usually isn't built through huge overnight transformations. Most of life is built slowly, by our routines and our little habits, by small moments repeated over and over that slowly shape the feeling of your everyday life. And that perspective shift has been really healing for me lately. Because instead of constantly focusing on everything that still isn't finished, I've been trying to appreciate what's already becoming calmer and more comforting little by little. And honestly, this porch isn't really even about the porch. It's about creating a life I actually want to slow down and be present in and experience to the fullest. A life where I sit outside in the evenings instead of constantly rushing through them. A life where I drink my coffee slowly in the mornings. A life where I stop feeling guilty for resting. A life where I stop treating every quiet moment like it has to be earned first. And I think that's one reason homemaking has become so emotionally grounding for me lately too. Because before this season, I mostly viewed homemaking as productivity. Cleaning the house, finishing all the housework, trying to stay caught up, checking things off the list. But lately, I think I've started realizing homemaking is really about creating an environment that supports the kind of life you're trying to live emotionally too. Not perfect or aesthetic, and definitely not some perfect Pinterest board. Just comforting, calm, welcoming, and peaceful to exist inside of. I really think that matters so much more than perfection. Because lately, I don't just want a life that looks nice from the outside. I want a life that actually feels good to wake up to every day. And honestly, I think that's why ordinary life has started meaning so much more to me lately too. Not in some dramatic way, just in a really normal, everyday way that I think I used to overlook constantly. Like being genuinely thankful to have fresh groceries on the counter instead of rushing through putting them away without thinking twice about it. Going outside for a little while and just letting myself breathe and clear my mind instead of constantly consuming noise or staring at my phone. I realize how much calmer I feel at night when I have a clean kitchen. Sometimes I enjoy taking the time to cook dinner instead of constantly feeling like everything has to be rushed all the time. But honestly, that one is still something I have to work on. Even just slowing down enough to have conversations throughout the day instead of always feeling mentally distracted by the next thing I need to do. And as simple and as cliche as it probably sounds, things like opening the curtains in the morning genuinely makes me feel so much better and more motivated for the day. And at night, sitting in softer lighting with a couple lamps on instead of having every bright overhead light on helps my brain settle down after long days. And I know these things probably sound really small to some people, but I don't think small things are actually small anymore. I think those little ordinary moments are what life is mostly made of. And difficult seasons really change your relationship with those moments. Because you start realizing how much of your life you can accidentally rush through while mentally waiting for some future version of life to finally feel better. And honestly, I don't want to live like that anymore. I don't want to keep waiting for life to finally become perfect before I allow myself to enjoy it. Because I've realized the future version of myself I've always dreamed about was really never promised to me to begin with. And honestly, I think God has really been teaching me lately that life is happening right now. Not someday when everything finally feels easier. Not someday when all uncertainty disappears. Not someday when every prayer gets answered exactly the way I wanted. Right now, I don't want to miss the life God is still giving me while I'm busy waiting for some future version of life to finally make me feel okay. Because if this season has taught me anything, it's that ordinary life is actually incredibly precious. And I want to actually be present for it while I'm living it. And if you're going through a season right now where you feel like life is uncertain too, I hope you know that you are not alone. I think so many of us spend our lives waiting for the fear to leave, waiting for clarity, waiting for everything to finally make sense. But sometimes the greatest gift we can give ourselves is allowing joy, gratitude, and peace to exist alongside the uncertainty. Not because everything is okay, but because God is still good and because this moment matters too.